Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about email subject lines. Now, why subject lines are so important is that if no one opens your email won't be read. And everything about the subject line has to do with opening the email so they can see the content and make the conversion. Now, there's an art to email subject lines that I'm gonna show you some examples of how I do it and how other people have done it. I'm even going to critique. Hopefully, your email isn't in there. I'm going to critique some of the subject lines that come into my email box every day, and we're going to look at a few examples of which ones I open and do not open, and for what reason. So, email subject lines, it's very important to experiment with these. And I'm going to show you in just a minute, going into one shopping cart, which is what I use for my email, but Aweber, it doesn't matter what email service you're using, the idea of tracking the open rates of your emails and experimenting with email subject lines is critically important for the success of your email. Everyone gets a lot of email. Inboxes are stuffed full of email every day. We've signed up for way too much stuff, and then they sell lists, and then we get spammed with all sorts of things. So there's a lot of competition going on with opening an email. And you got to remember, the conversion isn't just sending it out. It's the idea that people need to open it and then click on the links inside. So I'm going to go into the content of email itself. But for right now, we're going to look at email subject lines, because really, in my mind, that's the most important thing. Getting that email read, opening up that email. What is it that makes people want to click on a subject line and open that email? A lot of the times, they don't open it just because it's from you. It could be, or even if you're a friend or a family member, sometimes people don't have time to open it. It really needs to compel them to open it, and there needs to be a certain reason why. A call to action without the call to action being too obvious. So there's a stealthy way of looking at this, and we're going to look at a few of these. Right now, I've written 4 different elements of a successful subject line in an email. 1, builds curiosity. 1, that I have to understand, why do I want to open it? Is there something inside there that makes me want to open it? Number 2, just putting it out there and being too salesy. And I'll show you a few examples of what I mean by that. That turns people off. If you tell everything that's in the email up front in the subject line, I don't really need to open it at that point. It may be something I don't need right now, but let me make that decision once I get in there, into the email. So don't tell me everything up front, and don't make it sound too salesy. Also, we're doing experiments and research in taking subject lines and breaking them up a little bit, like we do a mini sales letter. So we're dissecting it sometimes into little parts. And some people do this well, and some people do it pretty crappy, and most people don't do it at all. And I'll show you an example of dissecting into a chunk or 2 chunks the subject line. And it's become kind of popular, but it needs to be done right. And then, of course, something I call rubbernecking, which is real stealthy. Just putting something compelling in there that may or may not have anything to do with the content of the email, but I have to look anyway. I call it rubbernecking because it's a little bit like a car accident. Everyone stops to look at that car accident, even though we don't really want to stare at it. We do. And it's human nature to want to look further into something that may or may not be even worth looking into. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but I got to give you some examples on that. Basically, it's about just saying something so off the wall, or even possibly negative, to get them to open the email just to find out. And then, of course, you can clarify. You can turn that negativity into a positive by making it like a joke or something like this, but saying something kind of outrageous that you wouldn't think you would put in an email, and then getting them, just because the curiosity and the rubbernecking, they just have to look. They have to look inside of it. They're so compelled. And that's a real stealthy way of doing this. And it's a lot of fun to do these. And sometimes email subject line can be so whacked out that you wouldn't think anyone would open it, and it could be your best one. You do have to experiment. You do have to make sure that you're measuring your open rates. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. let's take a look at some exact measurements that I did. This is just out of my one shopping cart. Just a small campaign. This is probably maybe over a week of some, or 2 weeks of some emails that I sent out. And I want to show you how I use different subject lines and get different results. Now, this is just a very, very small list that I sent to just around 2,800 people. It's just one of the lists I have. It's not, I don't overly pummel them with promotions. It's just a small list based on some video marketing I did. I have a number of lists, but I like to segment my list down a little bit because I have a little bit better conversion rate depending on what I'm selling. But anyway, we'll get into that in list building. But here's a couple emails that I sent out. You can see the first one here I sent out. It says, a complimentary live webinar reveals how to create and sell info products for free. And the catchphrase there, this is a little, it's not very salesy, but it gets kind of to the point. There's nothing real special about this, but it worked pretty good because I'm touching a nerve on this particular list, creating info products, which is what they're interested in, for free. Okay, it's a free webinar telling them how to create info products for free. I've used free in two different phrases, complimentary and the word free. And I know people don't like to put the word free in subject lines because of spam filters. If your list is opted in, you don't have to worry about that as much as if you were just sending out a bulk email to people who haven't opted in, then that could be a problem. But sometimes you want to use the word complimentary, and but free is relating to how to create info products, and complimentary is relating to the webinar. And you can see that I got an 18% open rate, which is about the industry average. Industry average is about 16.5%, so that's a little higher. Now, the next one, this girl is driving me crazy. Jealous. This girl is driving me crazy. Now, that doesn't explain anything about what's going on here. And people have to find out, what is he talking about? This is part of the rubbernecking that I talked about. Not only am I building some curiosity, but I'm actually rubbernecking here, but I'm putting something slightly negative into the subject line and making them have to look into it. So I'm saying I'm jealous and this girl is driving me crazy. It has nothing to do, or I can't tell exactly what this email is about, but I have to read it. I have to read it why. And you can see it was one of the higher open rates that I had out of these numbers here. So that actually works. So keep that in mind and have a little fun with this. Now, the next one, complimentary webinar, content creation workshop live. Now, I didn't mention anything, a real benefit here, like I did in creating info products for free, and I didn't really build any curiosity. I told them straight up what this webinar is about. Content creation workshop. You're either interested in it or you don't. But you know the gist of the entire email by looking at the subject line. You can tell by the open rate percentage here that it didn't go over quite as good as I wanted it to. So just people who were interested in this exact phrase opened it. Now, I got another one. How to create prospect and profit pulling content in minutes. This is, again, it's a little bit salesy. And it's a little bit different than this. This is full of benefit here. Create info products for free, but this is a slight salesy pitch to it, and you can see that people didn't really want to open that either, because again, they know exactly what's in it, but it sounds a little pushy without building any curiosity whatsoever. Okay, this next one, you can see they're getting a little bit lower conversions here. 13 and 14 are below the industry standards, which isn't good. Last chance free workshop content. Well, last chance usually works pretty good in catching the stragglers, and you don't really, this isn't a good measure, 13%. 13% could be of the people who didn't open these original ones. So that actually may be good because most people who opened these aren't going to bother to open this because they've already registered for this webinar. So the last chance got the stragglers. So sometimes these last chances only have 8 or 9% open rates. You know, if you word it like this, 13 on a last chance phrase there is actually pretty good. And you're getting just about everyone who is really going to be interested in this thing on board. And these follow about one maybe 3 days, 1 day, and then the day of, this kind of thing in this particular promotion here. So these are not necessarily the same people opening this, but literally different people. So you could add all these people together to make a giant registration. So this campaign actually worked out really good for us. Now, the replay of this campaign, you can see, is had a decent open rate. So people were interested in replay, and you want to state that, and you want to say relax and watch. Those are words that create an anti-salesy pitch. Just relax and watch this. I'm not trying to sell you anything, kind of thing. Open it up. Don't be scared to open it up. So you always put little words like that in there. Now, going back to what we said earlier about the dissect the email line, you can see where I'm separating these with parentheses. And I like to do that because it catches the eye and creates a small separation or a module from the rest of the subject line. And that's really good than having this all run on together or not being able to make this point. You can see I ran it together here, but then I separate it here. And it's just easier for the eyes, and you can put phrases in here to catch people. So let's take a look at let's critique some email lines that I get in my email box every day and break it down. Now you can see here some lines that I got in my email, and I've made my critiques known over here with these the red X's, obviously ones I don't like, and then I put a smiley face against the ones I do. So let's take a look. You can see here that some people are just using these really terrible. I don't even know what this means, so I didn't like it. I don't even know who these people are. It's probably just some spam I got. So no matter what they write, they would have, since I don't know these people, they'd have to write something very compelling for me to open it. Health. Okay, I have a lot of health problems, so I sign up for a lot of newsletters. But brains grown in lab key to Alzheimer's. Fish oil won't cut cancer. That's very confusing. They're just trying to put a bunch of crap in there at one time, and they're trying to cram all their topics in there, which confuses me. Put something a little bit more exciting. It's not creating any curiosity whatsoever. So X. Okay, Daniel Hall. He's a friend of mine. I love him to death. This isn't too bad, but I don't really like the salesy pitch type stuff. Make money immediately. I'm not even sure what that's about, but that's not as strong a benefit to me anyway that I would like to see. I would like to see something a little bit more creative than that. He did a good job of breaking this up to create urgency. It starts in 1 hour. I don't want to miss it. So basically, just because this is just a reminder email, the subject line probably isn't that as important as the original one, I'm sure, which was a lot better because I sign up for a lot of his stuff. But that, I don't know, you want to avoid that if you can. I don't know who this guy is, but I think I just got on another list here. Double your IRA in real estate. Avoid insider language. Some of this stuff I don't even know what this means. If you're trying to get me to open it as a regular person, I won't understand what that means. So avoid industry jargon and spell it out better. That's just very lazy. That wasn't great. It took about 10 seconds to dream that up. Squidoo. Love Squidoo. I don't have to open these. I'm already a member. Been a member for a long time, for years and years, but love letters to lens masters. I don't know. I just find that appealing. They did a good job just using the colon here to separate. That's pretty neat. I mean, I just want to open that. I don't know why that appeals to me, but it's very unsalesy and just very genuine, and it's not very pushy. Susan Haro, big fan of hers. I study all her stuff. Have you used these to get clients? Perfect. I mean, I don't know what these are, but obviously I always want more clients. But if I don't open this email, I'll never know what she's talking about. And I have to open it up just to see what little things. I mean, what's she talking about? My good looks, what is she talking? I've used all sorts of things to get clients, but what is she recommending? I got to open it. Okay. Out of all these, I would have to open that one. And all she did was ask a question. And these, I love how she put the asterisk around it to say that whatever these are something very unique. Great. You can avoid that. Twitter's just an automatic thing, so don't worry about that. Which I get a million automatic things. Point being that you get so many automatic emails from things like this that your subject line needs to stand out as good as possible. Then I got this. I'm not really sure what this is. It's a Google Plus automated, but I don't really know what this means. And you can obviously tell there I'm not too excited about that. It's like, what the hell here is going on? And I have no idea. So you can see here the superstars of email subject lines are really standing out. So let's take a look at another one. All right, this is super important. In most Gmail and Yahoo and AOL and a lot of the other big free accounts that a lot of people are using, I know a lot of people use Gmail, the first line of your email shows up after the subject line, which is, before I open it, I get to see the first line. So in our next video of email copy, I'll show you why that's critically important, that having that first line also be compelling along with the subject line, because it determines the open rate, the very first line of your email. And you can see some of these people just aren't doing it right at all and don't realize that when it comes to Gmail. If you don't have Gmail and you have something else, it doesn't matter what the first line really is because they don't see it. But in Gmail and Yahoo Mail and Hotmail and a lot of those other big ones, they do. So that's very important to keep that in mind. Again, let's look at some of these subject lines. Hector, I'm not sure who he is. How I make 6 figures a year. Yeah, okay. I don't really buy that. That's just salesy. Not too excited. I don't even know what this thing is here. But I would avoid things like that. I'm not sure. That could get caught in spam filters. Look at his first line, the Sales Funnel Revolution training program. That's hello there from Hector, Marketer's Dojo here. That's not a bad first line, okay? So, but this subject line is a little salesy. Daryl Gurney, a good friend of mine, Leap Career Special Extended and a Day with Daryl in Irvine. I like that. He's creating a little bit of urgency and he's creating a little bit of personalism. And that's really neat. And then look at his first line. This email is intended to support you in your career. Well, that's why I signed up for it. So actually, this is a very well done line here. It doesn't build like super curiosity, but if I am a friend of Daryl's, I definitely would be interested in both of these topics here with him. Easy health options, discover the new breakthrough memory booster, and then of course they repeat it again in the first line. You've been a subscriber, blah, blah, blah. See, they're blowing their first line here. It's probably just an automated thing, but it's not. Somebody wrote this. That's not any good. Okay, I don't like that at all. Scott Inman, one-click SEO for your PRL blogs plus 2 big thank you bonuses. That's just a bunch of gobbledygook. I have no idea what that is. And that is not making me, I don't know why he puts these numbers. That is not dissecting it properly. That's not a catchphrase. You know, this is just very, very badly put together. I don't know who Scott is, but he needs to work a little bit better more on that. Okay, Jeff Herring, video. Now, he dissected and is saying what I'm going to get before I ever open it up. Okay, that's really cool. Income at will. And who's this Will guy? I mean, now he's being funny. He's throwing some humor in there. He's asking a question. It's pretty compelling. It separates that I'm going to get to watch a video in there, which usually is not something very salesy. So yes, I like that a lot. Easy health options, 5 blood pressure myths that can put your heart and your life at risk. Okay, that's pretty compelling. If I just happen to wake up that day and I've been thinking about that. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, they just repeated the same line, so be careful again with the first line of your email inside in your copy. They could have used this to put a even more compelling line here. This is what you call a little bit urgency, and that does work. Okay, and you can see one in email. I don't know why I sent that to myself, but I got my own email here. This week's mystery gift, 1,000 worth of training for nothing. Well, that's, I made that into a little bit compelling. The mystery gift box is already showing that you don't know what it's going to be until you open it. And I use the word gift instead of just like tips and hype, but it's a gift. So I'm actually giving you a gift. That means that there's nothing in here for sale. I'm just handing out free training. And then, of course, $1,000, here's your benefit, $1,000 worth of training for nothing. I've put in gift, money, training, and free. And then, of course, that wasn't probably as strong a first line as I could have made, but I like the subject line of that. So, of course, I like my own stuff. Easy health options, again, digest, nutritious foods can transform your health. Somebody on their staff needs to do a little bit better with that, but whatever, it's probably not that important. And again, they're repeating the first line. Brendan, okay, I love Brendan, and everyone loves Brendan. He's huge, and everybody loves him. But the subject line could have been a little bit better. Brendan, come on, man. And it's like transformation truth number 7 from Brendan. Yeah, I already know that. Obviously, it says that in his name. So that was a little bit of waste. The dissection wasn't well done. And there was something about his transformation truth number 7, something very specific that he's trying to tell me. So why didn't he just put that in the subject line, like motivation? This kind of motivation will set your work free, or something, whatever it is that he's about. He should have put it in here instead of just making it list-like. So he could have done a little bit better job on that. The first line, he says, "Hi, Katie." This is Katie's email, actually, that I'm looking at here. And that greeting's nice. So that's a very personal, you should always put a greeting. That's really nice. And then Hector again, the prepayment list technique. And then he repeats it, the prepayment list technique. Hello there, Hector from Marketers. I'm just not getting a whole lot out of Hector here. And he's put that little, whatever that thing is, smiley face or something in here. So subject lines. Yeah, we're going to go over that in our workshops. So look at these things and go ahead and try different ones and be bold, be brave, put some stealthy ones in there. Remember to, again, build curiosity. Avoid salesy pitches. Don't tell them straight up what's in it. Dissect the line a little bit. Makes it easier for the eyes. We saw some of that. Rubbernecking. Say something outrageous. Like, here's a good one. Do not open this email. Yeah, just try that sometime and see how many people really do open it with that reverse psychology. So definitely do check these out and start experimenting with your open rates. Make sure that you can measure your open rates and have a good time getting these emails read.